Well, hello, everybody. My name is Sarah. I'm the Real Simple Mama, and my chickens are like, what kind of cruel and unusual punishment is this? This video is going to be about how to transport a chicken if you are having to take a bird to somewhere like, oh, I don't know, the vet, and spend $466 on them. You can't just grab your chicken and throw them in the back seat and drive to where you need to go. So I had been exploring a couple of options. I wasn't dying to drop any money on this, but so we've got the chicken fan is going, so I apologize for all the ambient background noise. And we have my chicken mister that's going, which has sprung a leak at the connection, which is super awesome. So it's almost bedtime for the girls, and I know they're all looking over here like, what are you doing, lady? So here are the three main options when we talk about you've got to take a bird somewhere. Again, you can't just excuse me, you can't just wrap them up in a towel and go driving. You can't get on the city bus with them like sitting on your lap or whatever. So here are the main options, and it's kind of like from the cheapest to the most expensive. Nobody has given me any of these products. These are all things that I've used in my life or that I've paid full price for, so this is not an endorsement or an advertisement by any means. So the cheap option is chicken in a box, and it's like, the freshest fried chicken you'll ever find, like right KFC on the side, and you're good to go. But in all seriousness, the things you need to think about is you have enough room for your bird to where they're not having to stay crouched down, they're not doing anything that's uncomfortable, because chances are if you're having to transport your bird, they might be injured or they might be ill. So you don't want to also squish them into some tiny container that doesn't fit. And also you need to realize that, their feet might be dirty, and if nothing else, they're probably going to poop while they're in there. I got really lucky with the carrier that I got, in that our vet is 6 minutes away. So I caught my bird, got there, and they got me in quick. So I haven't had to clean up a mess out of our nice carrier. But that's the best thing about the box, is that if it gets pooped in, big deal. You just throw it away or you recycle it or whatever. The considerations if you're using a box, and I don't know if you can see, but I've had to poke holes in this entire thing because, of course, now the bag, don't worry about the bag, that wasn't in there. But you need to have a ton of holes punched in there. You need to make sure that it's durable cardboard. It's not something that's super flimsy and weak that's gonna, bend and get all warped when you pick it up with a chicken in it. And then, unfortunately, what was difficult for me, because I had to take a chicken by myself, is that you were gonna have to have the box taped up, but still easily be able to, open it when you need to, but also keep it closed. Because your bird, you're putting them in with your hands, and as soon as you let go, the bird's probably going to try to come straight back out. So you're going to have to, do a little magic. And I had just a loose piece of tape, and I just put it over really quickly. But, the box is easy, the box is cheap, and it will work. Again, just make sure it's something that's big enough for your chicken, but then if they poop in it, it's no big deal. If you were doing a short transport, I would say 30 minutes or less. You don't need to worry about giving them food or water. In these conditions, they're not going to be thinking about eating and drinking. They're going into survival, like defense mode. So they're not going to be worried about eating or drinking. Also, that's additional mess. Also, if it's something like this, and it's pretty dark in there, so they're not going to be able to see anyway. So if you are having to do a longer distance, then you're going to need to think about something like giving them a little bit more room to stretch out, having a way to clean up their poop, and being able to at least bare minimum offer them like food for 5 minutes at a rest stop, and definitely a drink of water. So, and I'm going to do a video soon about how to give a chicken medicine, or like basically how to hold your bird and give them liquid or mash, or whether you've got a bird that's injured and it's not eating, or you need to give them some medication. So I'll show you that soon. So the next option is a cat carrier. The good thing about it is that if you get one that's like this, and this one is PetMate, I think is the brand. This one's super old. This was the one that was used by my cat, who I had to put down recently, but we still have this. And the good thing that you can see that's about it is it's easy to wipe down, right, because it's just plastic. And I wouldn't bother putting paper towels and a whole bunch of it. Like, I would just take it like that and then clean it when you're done. You could spray it down and let it air dry and not worry about it. And also, as you can see, at least on this one, it snaps apart. So now you could certainly have it already constructed and built, and then kind of, we used to call it like I don't know, cat rocket, like rocket cat, because we would tilt the carrier. This is the opening, right? This is where the door goes. We would tilt it up like that and have the door hanging open with it actually built. And we would, because the cat wouldn't want to go in there, but we would put her down vertically and then close it. And that was easier than trying to do it horizontally, we would do it like that with it being built. But you know, when you get to the vet, if your chicken is terrified or whatever, you can open it up like that. That was easy for me to wrap a towel around her because you want to get her wings and her feet in so they don't start freaking out and sliding all over the metal table or whatever. The bad thing about these carriers is they're designed for, you know, four-legged pets like small dogs or cats, and so they're probably not going to be tall enough for your bird. I'll show you, and I looked at, before I bought this thing that we'll talk about in a minute, I was looking at carriers online, and I wasn't worried about how long it was going to be because, you know, a chicken is a chicken. If it fits a cat lengthwise or a small dog, then it'll be okay for my chicken. But I wanted my chicken to be able to stand, or at least not to be uncomfortable. And so we're looking at something that's probably at least 10 inches tall, which is not going to be most of these carriers and may not be a box. So, and you know, I won't go into the details, but I was dealing with one chicken who got a mysterious illness and I had to take her to the vet multiple times. And then right after that, a chicken that got a mysterious condition, which, to be honest, Flopsy, like, we're probably never going to figure out exactly what happened with that mass in her x-ray. But I had to take 2 chickens to the vet at the same time. So then what I did is, when I knew it was imminent, I knew I was going to be taking multiple chickens, I finally was like, ugh, fine. And I went online and I was looking for bird carrier, you know, safe carrier, soft pet carrier. And there's not really a lot of things that are bird carriers. Now they are, but they look like a tiny little bird cage. Like, they're like half the size of that. And they're nice because they have the netting so you could see in there. And some of them have a perch built in, but those are for like sun conures. You know, those are for birds that are like the size of your hand, not for, you know, these little twerps. So that wasn't going to work. Some of these pet carriers, they come in, of course, they come in different sizes and they come in different colors and blah, blah, blah. I had to get a larger one just so I would get one that's tall enough. This one, it doesn't look like it because it compacts down, but these are basically airline safe carriers if you have to take your pet on and check them in, like, basically on an aircraft. These are all ones that are approved, is what I ended up looking at. And they're going to run you probably 20 or 30 bucks. But this one I liked because I could carry her like this, or I had a shoulder strap. This one I think was $28 or $29. It was available on Prime, so I had to grab it because it was like, hey, you have to take a chicken to the vet tomorrow. The side doors fold all the way out on both sides. There is like a hard panel on the bottom that comes with like a fleece bed piece, like a cushier piece, which of course I took out because I was like, that's gonna get pooped on. And it has the little pockets and stuff. So what I ended up doing is using the shoulder strap and taking Blue in her blue carrier, and then taking Flopsy in box. and I was by myself able to take, you know, and my keys and my wallet and my phone, and, you know, just walking in the vet with 2 chickens like, yo, what's up? So I know it seems kind of ridiculous. In no way am I advocating everybody who has a chicken needs to go buy, you know, this $30 carrier that you may never need. But once it was obvious, like, okay, I took Blue in and she had to have 1 shot that day, and I knew I was going to have to take her back at least once. And then all the insanity started happening with another chicken, and I was like, ugh. You know, I guess she was jealous she wasn't getting any vet treatment. I wasn't spending hundreds of dollars on her, so I decided that I was going to do that. So these are basically the 3 options that I've got. If you've got to be driving or you've got to take your birds somewhere, you know, you can't really show up with a stack of boxes to the vet by yourself, I guess. So these are the options. Again, nobody's paid me anything. This was just what I had to deal with. But in my mind, the 3 basic options are: you've got your standard box. It just, again, it needs to be something that's big enough. You need to be able to close it quickly by yourself. The cat carrier is super easy to clean. You've got options for getting the bird in and out, but it may not be tall enough. So, I mean, you may have to have your chicken basically like squatting down to get in there. And then you'd have to pay for it for sure. It'd be the most expensive option, I think. But an airline carrier that, I mean, if we ever get a kitten or a puppy again or whatever, we could use it for that. Honestly, once I put Blue in there, I probably could have put 2 chickens in there if I had to. This is the larger carrier from, and because I'm so, like, not, you know, I don't care about brands and advertising and stuff. So this is Elite Field. And I didn't even remember. I looked at so many carriers, like, I can't even tell you. So, and this is the larger carrier. They do say the dimensions. This one is either 12 or 13 inches tall, but it was the best option for the size, for the price, and for me to be able to get it by the time I needed it. So, just some things to think about for you to have in your toolkit, you know, in your mental toolkit in the back of your mind for, hey, if I've ever got to take a chicken somewhere, these are my choices. If you have to take a lot of chickens somewhere, you know, if I had a vehicle that could hold it, I would use a big dog kennel like this and just, you know, use like bungees or whatever and put it in the back of a truck and cover it with a tarp or something like that. But for me, taking one or two, you know, I drive an old Honda. You know, it's not big enough for me to have this built out like in my vehicle at all, even with the seats down or anything like that. So it was kind of like, okay, what are we going to do? So this is what I ended up having to do. And since I went through that experience, I figured, why not make a video about it? So these are the options, again, from cheapest to most expensive. Just things for you to think about if you've got to be taking a chicken somewhere. You know, I'm not big on, you know, I'm going to take my chickens in for yearly shots or anything like that. But this was a very serious thing. And both of my chickens probably would have passed away if I hadn't done something. So just some food for thought. And my chickens are like, all right, who's going next? Whose turn is it next? Right? I need to go to bed. And I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama. I'm always here to help. Here's my email address. If you ever have any questions, suggestions, freaking out, why is my chicken making this noise? You know, is this normal? What's going on with this bird? Are they okay? I'm happy to help. I have lots of other content coming. Just got to get time to do it. But I'm around. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to learn with you. I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama. Thanks so much.